Good afternoon, and thank you for joining this Nestlé media call that we are organizing at the occasion of our climate change pledge and our plans in the region for Europe, Middle East, and North Africa. Maybe just to give a little bit of the bigger frame. So end of last year, Nestlé announced its plans how as a group all over the globe we are going to achieve net zero by 2050. You might be wondering, this net zero, what is this? Basically, it means that we are going to reduce our emissions, so the greenhouse gas emissions from the farm till the fork. So we will do that in a drastic way, and wherever there will be emissions left, we will also remove those ones by basically storing some of the remaining carbon in, for example, the farms or through planting trees. And how we will do that, we will explain you in a minute.
That shows, I'm glad, because it shows the interest that you have on net zero roadmap and specifically for what we plan to do in Europe and in the Middle East and North Africa. I wanted to start with the sense of urgency. We really live unprecedented times that require urgent action. The climate change clearly is well known, is posing a huge risk to the future of food. So the food production and consumption are clearly the major source of greenhouse gas emission. So Nestlé needs to act, being the leader in food and drinks worldwide. We want to act because we are an important actor of the value chain. So we want and we will cut our greenhouse gas emission by half by 2030 and to reach the net zero by 2050. And our commitment covers the entire supply chain, the whole supply chain, so end-to-end really, the ingredients, the manufacturing, the logistic, the packaging aspects of that. We are confident because we have a strong ambition to lead the transformation of the food chain towards regenerative, inclusive, and circular food systems. The facts: more than 2/3 of the Nestlé emissions come from the agricultural ingredients that we use. That's why it's a big area of focus for us. It's important that we understand that we source from 500,000 farms directly and indirectly at the global level from 4.5 million farmers. You can understand also how we can impact being in daily contact with all of them directly or indirectly. So we want and we have the ambition and we will transform with our suppliers the way food is produced. So we want to transform the more intensive farming practices in really transforming regenerative agriculture, with a double benefit, the benefit for the nature, but also we want to give to the farmer a decent, at least a decent income in what they do. So in practice, we will focus as Nestlé on healthy soils, net zero dairy farms, and sustainable sourced coffee and cocoa. Not only on that, obviously, because we are a multitude of ingredients that we need for our production, but these are the main area of focus that we will have. My colleague Katia in a minute will tell you more about how we are going to make regenerative agriculture happen together with the farmers. So already now 5,000 Nestlé agronomists are supporting our farmers in the field, in adopting practices like crop rotation, reduced tillage, reduce use of pesticide, or even eliminate possibly fertilizers use. In addition to what we are doing today, we'll invest in the next 5 years 1.1 billion euro at the global level in everything that is needed to be done, including training, incentives for farmers and for their communities to promote the regenerative agriculture. We want to lead, but we cannot do it by definition alone with our suppliers. We really need to act in a system. And so we have global resources. We have also the ability, unique ability also to have a strong local presence and local know-how. This obviously can make a regenerative food system a reality, but we will never succeed alone. That's a critical point. So we need strong collaboration and partnership across the entire food chain with competition, with suppliers, with farmers, with policymakers as well. So in that sense, we need the support of local governments or from above countries, bodies, and obviously the most important for us is the European Union that is embracing now with the Green Deal. So we need to have supportive legislation on that. For example, if we give to agriculture subsidies, as we always have done at government, this should be linked to green measure. Because if we continue to give subsidies, then to buy fertilizer or pesticides, that doesn't work, you can understand it. So we should be creating also a market for carbon farming, because in reality the farmers are able to store carbon in the soil. This is a benefit for society, and we should also reward the farmers for this. So why not doing that? It looks also quite obvious that is a great measure to allow then the farmers to really transform their practices. Last year, I was elected as president of the European Food Industry Federation, the Food and Drinks Europe, and I can tell you that this will really enable and will strive for cooperation with policymakers and for the whole food sector for joint action. So to conclude, the timing is really ticking. We really feel as Nestlé, as industry, that mitigating the negative impact of the industry is not enough. We need and we want a real transformation. And I believe as Nestlé, our roadmap sets the course to more regenerative food systems. Thanks a lot.
As a mother of 2 kids, as a citizen of this planet, and as well as a business person, I feel a strong responsibility to help improve the food system in this defining decade and to turn the course. As we have heard, depleted soil, biodiversity loss, extreme weather conditions, air pollution already impact the quality of the food that we eat. But the good news is, as also Marco was saying, is that there are solutions by working with nature. And we want to go beyond being sustainable. We want to actively regenerate and restore. So this is nature, the biodiversity, the health of our soils, the natural water cycles, and actually also the entire ecosystem with a positive impact on society and communities. So let me share a few regenerative examples. The first one you have seen, not so much heard, but you have seen in the video, the living soils example in France. And here we provide training, measurement, and as well rewards to farmers to adopt regenerative agricultural practices, such as reduced use of pesticides, reduced tillage, but also crop covers and crop rotation. And this will not only store carbon in the soil, but it will also enhance biodiversity, and it will also keep good nutrients in the soil and hence as well in our food. So it's important as well for the nutritional value. And over the coming years, I'm very proud to say that we will convert 400,000 tons of raw material in France that should come from regenerative agricultural practices. And to enable this, we develop schemes to increase the farmers' incomes and provide them with the right incentive to restore instead of depleting. So in France, for example, we pay 15 up to 25 euros per ton of wheat to farmers for regenerative farming. Another interesting but also eye-opening fact, I think, is that only 5.6% of the farmers in Europe are below the age of 35. And on the other hand, there's 31% of the farmers that are older than 65 years old. So this also is a wake-up call to say that we need to make this profession future-proof and aspirational for future generations. A second example I would like to highlight is Lens in the UK. We are convinced that farmers can earn a higher income with regenerative agricultural practices. But the challenge is the transition. So the years, where you switch from the intense agriculture to the regenerative agriculture. And with Lens, we're developing a financing mechanism for farmers to exactly help in that transition. How? Well, Lens delivers multiple sustainability outcomes beyond the carbon capture that farmers can sell. And then everyone who benefits, so this could be other industry players, other manufacturers, it could be communities, or as well could be actually anyone who's benefiting, they will finance a share. I think this is a fantastic initiative and it's highly collaborative. And this is what we want to roll out across several countries in Europe. So then let's talk about dairy and about climate-friendly dairy farms. We have some projects, for example, in Switzerland and in the UK, where we have been collaborating and supporting farmers on over 220 dairy farms, and we have achieved already quite some nice results. So in Switzerland, with the climate-friendly milk, for example, we have been working with 150 dairy farmers, and we could reduce the emissions already by 10%. And in the coming years, our ambition is to scale up these farms to several hundred of farms. And you will hear more from the local market in the future, and we'll come back on that. In another initiative on dairy, we will implement more practices like planting trees, better management of manure, and there, with all actions planned, we believe that we can reduce farm-based emissions of up to 50% by already 2025. And overall, in the dairy area, you will hear more in this area, including in countries like France, Germany, Morocco, and Spain. And we also have an ambition to have net zero dairy farms in several places in EMENA, which I find is really, really exciting and very hopeful to show these solutions. Now, as mentioned by Marco, cocoa and coffee are key ingredients in Nescafé EMENA. And here we have been cooperating already for years with the Nescafé and with the Cocoa Plan to support farmers, their livelihoods, but also to avoid deforestation. Additionally, in 2020, we have entered a public-private partnership in Ivory Coast to conserve and restore the Cavalli forest. So this is one of the last biodiversity hotspots in Ivory Coast, and we have some first progress and some outlook on how to help protect this precious forest. Additionally, we will also roll out an ambitious reforestation plan, and you have heard already in December that we are planning to plant 20 million trees per year globally for every year until 2030. So lastly, the last point I want to make is our brands. So our brands will become the ambassadors of change. We would like to educate and drive change with our consumers because their choices are really key and they drive the demand and in the end as well the supply on what is being provided. So we would like to transform our portfolio and use the power of brands to shift consumption patterns towards more plant-based food, but as well we would like to reformulate our products towards more climate-friendly recipes. So just as one example, can you imagine that the Garden Gourmet plant-based burger has a carbon footprint that is 80% less than a regular beef burger? And as well, it has a Nutri-Score A. We talked about also brand carbon neutral brands. So some of the Nestlé brands have committed to become brand carbon neutral by 2022, like Garden Gourmet, the Waters brand, San Pellegrino, Aquapanna, Perrier. As well, we're adding today Vittel to this list. And as well, we have some local brands announcing brand climate neutrality, such as Little Steps in Germany, and as well Wagner Piccolinis in Germany, that will become brand carbon neutral already by summer this year. And we are not just offsetting, we are also insetting, and that's very important for us. So again, I think this is a really clear step forward and a clear signal on our ambition. We will also reduce emissions in our own operations, but I'll leave that for potential questions for later, so I will park that. So just to conclude, this call is also a call to all our customers, suppliers and industry players to jointly collaborate and to partner to transform the whole food system jointly with determination and with action. We have an urgency and we are in this together. And for us, this is an exciting journey, and I'm very excited to share some more news in the future. There will be more coming soon. Thank you very much.